Okay, so I'm going to show you a practice now that you could use for out of possession, so defending. Okay, a bit on defending and out of possession. I think we need to be really careful when you're working with the youngest of age groups that we're not touching on defending too much. We'll talk a bit more about the England DNA and how we play inside. But personally for me, I think in terms of a priority list, there are higher priorities other than defending with the youngest of age groups. However, that's not saying that it can't be introduced. There are ways of disguising it. So I just think we need to be careful with our terminology and our language. So if we start talking to players about pressing and cover and balance, it might just confuse them a little bit. So it's more a language thing really, and trying not to go into too much detail defending wise, because as I said, I think there's other priorities that are more important as we're getting him to fall in love with the ball and fall in love with the game. However, this I would use with kind of, it depends on your players really. Some might be able to cope with it at kind of 8, 9. Others might not be able to cope with it until kind of 12, 13. So it's knowing your players, and you'll all know them better than I know them. So, Natalie, are you all right over there? Can you hear us? If you want to have a walk over so that you can see, and you're on time. Okay, so what we're going to look at is we're going to look at different strategies and tactics for defending. So I'm going to be, as I said, really careful with the language that I use. I'm not going to use too much technical wording. I'm just going to keep it dead simple, but just to think about how we might defend. So in a game of football, what do we have to defend? The goal. So I've put a goal in. What else might we have to defend? The ball. What else? The space. The other players. So what I've done at the other side is I've put in a yellow line across here. Okay. So each team at some point in the game will have an opportunity to defend the goal, but also have an opportunity to defend and think about how they're going to stop balls getting through into the space or the players in behind us. Does that make sense? Okay. So the Reds are going to defend the goal first. So okay, you will be in goals for the Reds first. So the Reds will have 5 players and the Blues will have 4. But the Blues are defending the line. Okay, I'm going to get you playing straight away, but as you are playing, just have a think about Blues, how are you going to defend that line and stop them playing through you? And Reds, how are you going to defend the goal? Okay, does that sound alright? To score, you either shoot through the goal, or Reds, you can either dribble it over the line, or you can play a ball to somebody running on to receive it. But we will play offsides in that, so they can't just be stood in there waiting to receive a ball. Okay, make sense? Brill. Blues on here replicate the yellows there, I've just realised. Alright, on we go then, and we're going to let Kate start with the ball. I'm making your goal bigger, I've decided. I'm going to challenge you. Yep, the yellow line with the cones on it. Superstar goalie. Isn't it? Right, are you ready? Play! Oh, I did well to recover that. Can you win it again? Keep going, Lauren. Good, you can either dribble it over or pass it over. You're in, Lorna! Can you get there? Shall we let her have that one? 1-0 to the Reds. We'll let her have it. It was a great run. Great running behind. No, start from there now, Charlene. Good, we've nicked it. Can we play? Can we play whilst there's 2 plays out the game? Play quickly. Great ball. Well kept in. Let's go. Let's go. Can you get all the way? Not going to give you that one. Didn't get a touch. Right idea though. Could you have gone all the way, Hannah? Play. We're in. Can you get there, Lauren? Get it over the line. Yes, 2-0 to the Reds. Play, Joe. No goal. Shell, I really liked how you went in there to put the pressure on, but you didn't go in for the tackle. Because what you did by not going in for the tackle was you helped to delay them and just make her make a decision about which way she was going to go. So I like that. I like how you held off, but still managed to delay her. Well done. Yellow ball. Play. Can we play quick, Charlene? Can you use the space in front of you? Good. Pardon? Yeah, of course you can. Dribble it over. Well intercepted. Play quick. Can you play quick? Can you play through them? Good. Keep going, Leanne. Can we win it back? Can we win it back? Good. Okay, and just come in. Reds, get together, have a chat. What has helped you to be successful in winning the ball back? Yellows, just come in. Okay, are we getting much success? No. Right, so have a think as a team. How are you going to get more success in terms of winning the ball back? We've got a big line to defend. How might we work as a team to defend that line? Okay. Also, have a think about what's helping them to be successful at winning the ball back. What are they doing that pretty much every time we get over the halfway line, they're able to win it back? Maybe? I haven't, no.
We need to keep hold of the ball.
What else are they doing as a team? How have they set themselves up? Why are they organised? Why? What's the formation? What are they always making sure they have? Okay, so they're almost defending the halfway line, aren't they? How are they doing that? Because in theory, if they're defending that, you'll be able to defend that. Does that make sense? Yeah. So are you going to try and win the ball back higher up the pitch, or are you going to let them get nearer to the line and then try and win it? Have a little think about what your strategy is. What's making you successful as a team? But defending wise, in terms of winning it back?
Pressing.
Right. So how are you pressing? Okay. Okay. Are you sat back or are you pressing quite high up the pitch?
Pressing high up the pitch.
Okay.
Everyone else is holding position, so it doesn't look like there's gaps.
Okay. And what have you usually got as soon as they win the ball back?
Numbers back.
You've got people who are kind of in and around this area ready to pick up the extra ball. So you're organising yourselves really well. Okay. They're coming up with a strategy of how they're going to stop you now. So you might have to change the way you play. Maybe. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Play! Good. Yellow ball. So we've just had a little discussion around what each team are doing defensively. So who was having most success in terms of winning the ball back?
The Reds.
Why?
I don't know, I think they seemed to communicate better. They were shouting for it, they were asking for it.
Okay. But in terms of winning it back,
Oh, right.
why were they having more success?
I have no idea.
Okay.
You seem to be taking the time when you're getting it out.
Okay.
Because the Reds are all there on the line ready to come back.
Right, so the Reds are quite high up the pitch. So they're winning the ball back quite high up the pitch, aren't they? Because that's how they've organised themselves, where the Yellows seem to kind of sit back a little bit and have almost gone to just block the line.
Yeah.
So what I've said to the Yellows is actually, is that working for us by inviting them onto us and then they've not got very far to travel over the line? Or actually, do we try and set ourselves up a bit higher up the pitch as the Reds have done and try and win it back that way? So they're starting in a little bit to get a bit more organised, but what's catching them out is just those runners. So that's something as a coach that I almost need to pick up on and challenge the Yellows around. Play on! Well read, Joe. Joe, how did you know that Lorna was there? Okay. So before the pass had even been played, Joe had had a look round to see what might be around her. Okay? Because at the minute, Yellows, what's happening is what? Where are the Reds going? They're going wide and they're getting in behind us. So if I'm here, as Joe's just done, I might just need to check behind me to see who's available to receive it. Yeah? So as I'm waiting, and I might be watching where it's coming from, but I also need to check where it might go. So if I can see that Lorna's here, as the ball starts to travel, I'm going to step across and I'm going to try and receive it. Does that make sense? Okay? Well done, you read the game really well then. Let's play. Good! Much better, Shell. You read that? We've won it back. Let's play. Well kept in. Can we play out? We're in, Charlene! Can we finish? Yep! It's over the line! I got a bleep in my ear to say it had gone! It's got a chip in it, that ball. So Yellows, how might we organise? Can you be checking your shoulder, Charlene? So Charlene, as the game's unfolding, just constantly having a check as to who might be running in behind us. Yeah. And then as the ball travels, I might be able to step across and get in the way. Okay? Be constantly checking what's around you. That's a corner, isn't it? Love it, Shell. Showing off the skills there. As the coach, what am I using to help players? What are my interventions looking like? Am I constantly stopping the group all the time?
No, you're doing personal individual.
Right, why might I be doing that?
Because you're still letting the game flow so everyone else is still engaged, interacting. stop one person aside so then they can take a look, listen to what you're saying and then act on it.
Brilliant. Because actually sometimes my point that I want to make might not be relevant to the rest of the group. It might just be for that individual. So there's no point in stopping the rest of the group and giving my point when actually it's only relevant for a particular individual. So that ball can keep rolling as I'm just having a chat with Charlene or Shell or Joe. What else did I use to highlight something that I wanted the players to do? The bit over there where I stopped the practice when Joe had just won the ball.
Did you not use one of the players for demonstration?
Kind of. I almost highlighted an example of her doing something that I would want my defender to do. So you know where I said, how did you win that ball back?
Yeah.
So I used a question around how did you win it back?
Yeah.
How did you know that Lorna was there? Oh, well, I'd looked around to check where she was. Right, brilliant. So, and then I used that as a positive example to highlight to the rest of the group that that might be something that will help us to defend. So it's just different interventions that doesn't always involve a stop and it's all about me as the coach, this is what I want you to do. Yeah. Have you got the spots? Oh no, it's alright. Play. You okay? You alright? Okay, and just hold it there. Just come in. Okay, yellows. I've just added in 3 channels into your half. Okay? What I want you to think about is, as a team, how might you fill those channels? Because I'm going to say that when you haven't got the ball, you can only fill 2 of the channels. So I want you to have a think about which 2 channels you're going to fill and why. Okay? So what might we be looking for from our players in here? Okay. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3 channels. If the ball's here, which 2 channels might we be filling? Why? Right, brilliant. So what we're getting them to think about is where they position themselves on the pitch, because it is a big area to defend, but in a football match you would have a biggish area to defend. And I think sometimes when we do an out of possession topic, we make it really small so that they get loads of success at winning the ball back, but then on the pitch the space is like that. So it's getting them to think about actually which space is relevant to cover. Are there certain spaces on the pitch that actually we don't need to cover? So as you're playing now, just have a think about which channels are you going to fill based on where the ball might be. Okay? Are you ready? Last couple of minutes. Yeah, I don't know. I did separate them. I don't know why that's ended up in there.
No, I just had hold of it.
Okay, are we ready? Play. So when they've got the ball, which 2 channels are we going to fill as a team? That's it, Leanne. That's it. Good, we've run it back, Charlene. Brill, can we play? Which ones are we going to fill, yellows? Great run, Hannah. Let's play.
Pre-season you was trying to teach the girls outside. So much fun. The head coach, he's good. You know, Colin.
Recognise the name.
Really good with skills.
I might know him if I saw him.
He said I said to him, I said your name and Jack's, and he said, oh yeah. He's dead good.
You alright, Leanne?
Yeah.
Good, Joe. Great recovery. Can we play, Charlene? Can we play forward? Good. Go, shout. Great run. Which 2 are we filling, yellows? Dead. Can we finish, Nick? Good save, Lorna. Tell you what, we'll finish on that. Have a walk in. Yeah, you can bring... Actually, now leave them. It's all right. We'll get them in at the end. Thank you. So, how have I challenged in different ways to try and get them to think about how they defend? Did I go into loads of different detail and complex detail around defending? Because actually, if I do that as an introduction to defending, I'm just going to baffle you, and we'll just baffle our players. So. Football is a complex game, so we need to try and simplify it, especially when we're working with younger players, because otherwise they'll just, when they're out on the pitch and they're trying to remember all that complicated stuff we told them, actually, can we just give it to them simply so it's easier to remember on a Saturday or a Sunday? So what kinds of things did I do with... I ended up working predominantly with the yellows, okay, because in terms of success, it was quite a big line to defend. So how did I challenge to get you to think about how you might defend? Okay, what did I use to bring that out?
You gave us guidelines.
Right, so what I did was, we call it catching them being good. So actually, a particular player might do something that you want to highlight because that's something that you almost want to have replicated across all your other players. So rather than me just going, Shell, can you be looking around to see, actually, that might only be something that I've spotted, but if somebody's actually done it, that's going to make them feel good about it, and it's going to make it appear almost more reachable and more achievable if they know that one of their players has done it rather than the coach. Does that make sense?
I think it also goes the other way, because obviously when she's not doing that again. I mean, she did. It was my intention she wasn't going to do that again, so it gives you the other player some feedback as well.
Yeah, good. What else? What other kinds of things did I introduce to challenge you in terms of thinking about your defending?
So that when they score the goal, they run back, whatever. And you're playing quick balls, so they're not on the mark. Yeah.
Okay, so I almost tried to get out an element of transition and that recovery. In what other ways did I challenge you as a defending team? Particularly the yellows. What did I throw in to think about? Right, why did I put the channels in?
You told us that only one can be in each channel.
Did I?
No, only 2 channels can be filled at a time.
Good.
So you're given the option, and it was their choice to do what with it.
Okay. Because actually, when you look at that space, it's quite big. So what I'm doing is I'm almost chunking it for you. So rather than saying defend all that, actually think about which 2 areas are gonna be your priority to defend. Does that make sense?
Are you talking about are you talking about players in those areas? Like you're going to cover that channel and you're going to cover that channel, and then if there's an element, it doesn't have to be right. I see.
So I didn't specifically say which players had to go where. I just said when they get the ball, have a think about which of the 3 you're going to cover.
Okay.
So can you cover 2 out of 3 of them? And as we said, if a player's got the ball, here, which channels would if that's channel 1, 2, and 3, which would you cover as Blues? 2 and 3, because actually 1 is not that big a danger to me. Because as the ball, but then if it does start to travel over here, what might the Blues do? Yeah? So what I was doing is I was almost trying to build some pictures and give you some references as to where in that space you might almost cover. Does that make sense? Yeah. Good. Any other thoughts on that? I think the main thing for me, again, when you're doing a topic like this, is trying not to get too much out. So that might be my initial kind of week 1, week 2, where I'm just setting some pictures as to areas that you might have to defend. So we defend the goal, or we might have to defend the space in behind. But I don't want to give too much because I can build that up over 6 weeks. So in the first few weeks, it might just be a couple of things to think about. So one of my questions to you, Yellows, initially after the first kind of 5 minutes was what? About the Reds. How are they being successful? Because actually you can learn from other teams. So what the Reds did, they were almost defending a line because they came right up to the line to defend. So they were pressing quite high up. Whereas the Yellows had almost decided that they were just going to almost try and sit back and defend the line. But what that meant was, as the Reds got nearer, it was easier for them to just get it over the line. So you can almost compare the teams and get them to think about, well, what is it that they're doing to be successful? And can we steal a little bit of that, and how can we organise ourselves? So it's just drip feeding little things in to get them to think about it. And then when they're ready for it, you might start to go into a little bit of detail. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Cool. Tommy, anything? Jack? I'm going to hand you over to Jack now.